Dr. Balan was there. There.
Yeah, he was here. He was here. Actually, he's here.
Good morning to all. Hope I am audible.
Yes.
Very good morning to all. Today we have gathered here for the remembrance meeting of Professor Iyer. He was a faculty member long time back. Before I tell you more about the Professor Iyer, I would like to welcome all of you, especially our former faculty members, Professor Prabhakaran Nayak sir. He was the professor and head of the department. Professor G. Renuka madam, she was the professor and head of the department. Professor Unnikrishnan sir, he was also a professor of the department, and later he was the professor and head of the Department of Optoelectronics. And Professor N. Balan, he was a faculty member here, and then he moved to a different institute. We'll hear more about him later. And all other faculty members, our esteemed alumnus who are present online and also offline. So a warm welcome for all of you, our own faculty members and the students, master students and the scholars present here. I'm extending a warm welcome to all of you for the remembrance meeting of Professor Iyer. So now I would like to say a few words about Professor Iyer. He was born in September 1948 in Kerala. He had his early education from in the Alpi district, and he secured first rank in MSc Physics from the University of Kerala in 1969. He served as a lecturer in physics in different colleges in Kerala between the years 1969 and 1971, and subsequently joined for the PhD program of PRL Ahmedabad under the guidance of Professor R.G. Rastogi. He obtained PhD in ionospheric physics from PRL in the year 1976. He joined this department in 1976 as a technical officer and later became a lecturer in physics. So most of us were not even born in 1976. He was involved in teaching as well as research activities in the physics or the space physics in this department. And also he helped Professor Balan for his PhD thesis work. He left the department in June 1979 to join as a reader in physics in Saurashtra University in Rajkot, Gujarat. He served as a professor there, professor of physics between 1987 to 2013. He has guided about 25 PhD students and has more than 100 publications to his credit in different areas of solar terrestrial physics in reputed journal. He was a visiting scientist after his retirement in Physical Research Laboratory and also the Space Physics Laboratory, Trivandrum. SPL is a part of VSS, you know that. He also served in several national committees in space physics and undertaken several academic visits abroad. While undergoing the medical treatment, Professor Iyer passed away in Mumbai in July 2024. So that's all about Professor Iyer. So now I would like to request you, all of you, to stand up and we will have a 1 minute silent prayer. Thank you all. Now we will move on to the remembrance speech. First, I would like to welcome Professor Unnikishan Sir, former faculty member and also the founder, professor, and head of the Department of Electronics, to address it. Sir?
Friends, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Friends, I think it is very difficult to talk about a student who has expired. Naraniya was my student of MSc when I was doing research in Ernakulam. You know, the history, the three centers were started in 1963. One at Calicut, presently Kozhikode, one at Ernakulam, that is in Thrissur, and one at Paryavatam. And in Thrissur, physics department started. That was the first physics department of the Kerala University. It was started first in Union Christian College at Ray in 63, and there Professor Venkateswarlu joined as the professor. And 67, the department shifted to Thrissur. When it was changed to Thrissur, there were no facilities. Teachers were limited. In Union Christian College, the teachers of that college also joined for teaching in the combined MSc course there. So when it was started here, teachers were not there. So we research scholars were asked to teach. I was on CSR fellowship, and there is a provision 4 hours, 2 hours for preparation and 2 hours for teaching. So I taught around a year there as an MSc student. And interestingly, one thing I will tell you, at that time hostel was not there. And therefore the students were allowed to stay in the department itself. In one room, they were given to the boys. Of the 12 students, only one girl was there. She was given the room in an adjacent convent. So that was the arrangement, and there Narayana was the student, and Girish will know there are several people who were there. One is Rajamani, who was there in the university college. Then C.S. Menon, C. Sumara Menon, who was the professor in the Mahatma Gandhi University. Then Father Joy was there, who was in Paradamada College. Then Avsa Bichan, who was there in the Todura Newman's College, and all these people were there. And the lady Vasundhara went to US, and I don't know anything more than that. So that is the class which I have taught, and that is how the Narayana was there. He was the first rank holder in the MSc final examination. So he came out and then joined some colleges and then came here. He was a very studious student, and that is how he got the first rank, and very hardworking also at that time. And they stayed in the, only one hall. That is how they studied there at that time. And later only the hostels came. And in the meantime, they have passed out. That is how it started. And myself, Dr. Girija Vallavan of the Cochin University, Dr. Babu Joseph of the Cochin University, we taught them in the theory classes, and second year we were in the lab also. So that is how the things went on. So I remember him very much as a student. And then when I came to Karyavatam, he was the technical officer there. First he was appointed as a technical officer. Later, when the lecturers were appointed, at that time, not assistant professors, it is only lecturers, and he was selected, Narayana Iyer, Redika, and Prabharan Nair. These three were selected at that time, and he joined as a lecturer. And after some time, and before that, he has taken PhD from PRL, and he joined here, and Professor Rao knows him very well, and he joined the space physics research and continued there, and later he shifted to Rajkot in the Saurashtra University and worked there. And his activities, we know And there was one person who used to tell us about his activities, Professor N.V.V.J. Swami, who was a visiting professor from US. He used to come here, and he also used to go to Rajkot, and we were, and he will tell about Naranier, and that is how it was there. And I remember him staying in the campus in a cottage, and we know his family. And I also know his second daughter has a problem with the heart. That also I remember. So all these things he saw bad, and he lived up to this time. And unfortunately, he passed away early. I think surpassing all of us. And that is how I have to say. And I remember he was a very good student and also a very good colleague. That is how he worked, and he worked very hard in the department. He was in charge of the lab also at that time because he was a technical officer, and he has the uh, ability to organize the lab there in the department, and that is how the lab developed in the physics department. So in the time, I am not taking much time. I am just saying he was a nice fellow, and I remember him as a very good person, as a student, and also as a colleague. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikesh sir. Now I would like to formally welcome Professor P. Balram Rao sir. He was the professor and head of the Department of Physics, and he was also in charge of the MSc radar when it was for the first time. So, Rao sir, can you say a few words about Professor Iyer?
Good morning to you all. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Sibi and Dr. Girish for associating me with this solemn occasion of remembering Professor K.N. Iyer. I have known Professor Iyer before coming to Kerala University. The beginning of space science in Kerala University started with a major program by UGC to universities which are close to space centers. Under that scheme, 3 universities were selected. Kerala University because of VSSC, and Gujarat University because of Satellite Application Center, and then Andhra University because of this Shaw Center. So the UGC wanted a post-MSc diploma in space sciences to train 2 promising students so that they could be absorbed into space centers. Like Kerala University students were to be taken by VSSC directly under the regular program. But under that program, 4 positions were filled. One professor was given, one radar, one technical officer, and one technical assistant. That's how I came to Kerala University as a professor. And I remember Devanarayanan was selected as a radar under that program, and Professor Iyer as a technical officer, and as a technical assistant also, either Mohandas or Gop Kumar, I forget. One of them was also taken as a technical assistant. So when I joined, only the diploma program was there, and the students graduating from that, the diploma was not greatly valued, and they were not taken by the space centers, and the agency could not persuade the space Department of Space to absorb them. So that qualification was not great issues. I quickly realized and suggested to the Vice Chancellor that we should start at the MSc level. Then we framed that applied electronics and the space physics. That's how MSc Applied Electronics and Space Physics started at Kerala University. Under that program, Professor Iyer is a technical officer, and as Professor Unikrishna has mentioned, that he is immediately within a year or 2 years, he became a faculty member. And he is an exceptionally resourceful scientist, and above all, is a very amiable person, very kind human being, extremely easy to work with because he respects everyone, senior colleagues, uh, peers, those who work with him, and the students. So that way is a very noble person. Um, so it's a small group. Bhavan joined as a first research scholar under me, and Iyer was there. And we started electronics laboratory, and both Iyer and Bhavan helped. And one student I remember, a brilliant student, one K. Lakshman, was there in the first batch of that thing. And I remember I bought actually a manual from Keltron. When Sitaram was there, um, I met him and I said, we need your help to develop the instrumentation in the for space physics. And he was overjoyed, and he associated one Sridhar with us, and that was the beginning. And so Professor Iyer was an interface and working very well with Sridhar, developed the HF Doppler sounder, which was funded by Department of Space for a project. And Balan and Professor Iyer, uh, those early batch, and a few students who have a natural affinity for electronics. And I remember uh, one student, Godfrey and Vikram Kumar, and these are all, they're actually very much oriented towards technical work. So with their help, I would like to say the contribution of the students was as much as of the faculty, because the faculty at that time, I was an electronics person, systems man, but then my time was different, and the new devices and all that we have to learn. So that way it was a learning process together with the students, and that was a very exciting time. And Professor Iyer was an integral part of it, and he was contributions were unforgettable, both in building the electronics laboratory at that time, and also the first Doppler, HF Doppler sounder for ionospheric studies. But going back, I knew Professor Iyer from PRL days because I have a close friends at PRL from my time. Some joined there, Professor Raghuram and Professor Rastogi, and Deshpande, and a couple of people of the ionospheric um, were there. So he joined under Rastogi, who is a prolific producer in ionospheric science. Two students who very much imbibed his qualities. I remember one was Ken Iyer, another was Harish Chandra. And he's, I suppose, you could also say because he was a contemporary. I mean, they worked for engaged together in Rastogi, and Harish Chandra concentrated on um, low latitude plasma irregularities using a space receiver, and Dr. Iyer was given a branch of total electron content and scintillations. So those were the very early days of uh, measurements of total electron content of the ionosphere and scintillation. He was one of the earliest pioneer in thermal content and scintillation studies in India. There were four groups: NPL, Calcutta University, Andhra University, and PRL. And in PRL, the total content and scintillation was the area in which this Iyer made enormous difference, both as a student, PhD student, and after leaving that place and coming to us, since instrumentation takes long time, I was wondering why there should be something to engage students, then generate some science. So as I had joined, I thought total fun was the right thing to get started because I has the background and I have some background, but that's a very old time kind of thing. So that's how the early cases of Balan and uh, several other students, Nambudri, Vikram Kumar, and all those people. Vikram, of course, worked with the SPL system also, data also. Those people have two parts. One on total point and another on the HF top kind of thing. Um, I, I say his contributions were enormous, and unfortunately, we lost him. He got an opportunity to go to UK and to Rutherford Laboratory. Appleton Rutherford Laboratory is the leading ionospheric center in the world. There he got a fellowship. There he went. On return, he went on leave as a lecturer here. On return, he got an offer of a leadership at Saurashtra University in Rajkot. Um, so that is one step above. Plus the fact he was persuaded by probably the Saudi and others to come back to Gujarat to start atmospheric studies there in Rajkot. So that's how we moved out to Rajkot. And since then, soon after I also left, and there wasn't much connection, but we connected one since it was a major activity. At that time, chairman of the Department of Space also was there with me and Professor Iyer, and he wanted to help build uh, Saurashtra University Ionospheric Center. And with that, I think he has got it. Ionosphere and software world. So in those days, he was in contact with me. Uh, the that is the last I have known him, and it's quite unfortunate that we have taken much to the flying extreme. We had moved after airlines. So that's about all I would like to say. I would like to say to some of the younger students and all that to um, emulate the qualities that some of these people who are very smart, as Krishna was saying, he was a brilliant student and an exceptionally resourceful scientist and an equally good teacher. So in all areas of academic activities, he excelled. And we miss him and we call this meeting to remember the outstanding scientists. Thank you.
Now I would like to welcome Professor S.R. Prabhakaran Nair, sir, Professor, former professor and head of the Department of Physics.
Thank you for inviting me. First, let me say thanks to the department for making such a remembrance meeting. It's well done. My contact with Professor Narayana Iyer goes back to the MSc days, where he was my senior. We were staying in the same hostel next row. And even those days, I remember him as a very brilliant student. Everything comes to his mind. Whenever he wanted to say something, it's like a tape recorder. The subject comes out. Very, very, very active. And he got first rank in those days. It was that you can remember the first rank means the entire Kerala had only one university at that time, one physics department. So that way, it was a great achievement for him. After a few years, I did not have any contact with him because he joined the college. Then later he went to Physical Research Laboratory, Ahmedabad, for his PhD work. And he was with Professor Rastogi, because Professor Rastogi is known to me because I was also working in the Indian Institute of Journalism. He was the director there. Later, he joined as a director at Indian Institute of Journalism. So that way, we had contact in between. And later, here in the department also, we were together for some time. He was personally, he was a very, very friendly person, because we have been contacting in between during these years uh, for his family work, and because I was helping him in some ways. He was a very, very nice person. And maybe a few years back, I met him in Joanton. He was trying to dispose of his all furniture and other utensils here, and he was migrating to Bombay for staying there. As a researcher, I have met him in many, many meetings and conferences, and very good orator, a very sincere research worker. He has got a number of publications, and he was there in various committees. As Professor Rao mentioned, he was a sincere teacher as well as a worker. During his days at Tajkot, we used to meet in between, because we used to talk about the UGC schemes and how the extension is there. He retired as the professor and head of the department of Saurashtra University there. So I remember him as a sincere friend, a very good teacher, and a very good researcher. And may he hold rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balakrishnan. Now, I would like to invite former Professor and Head Professor G. Renuga to say a few words about Professor Iyer.
താങ്ക് യു സുബോധ്. ആദ്യമായി ഏറെ വൈകിയാണെങ്കിലും എൻ്റെ അയ്യർ സാറിനും കുടുംബത്തിനും എൻ്റെ ഹൃദയം നിറഞ്ഞ ബാഷ്പാഞ്ജലി. ഫോർ ദി സേക്ക് ഓഫ് ദി ഓഫ്ലൈൻ പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസ്, ഐ ആം രേണുക. ഞാൻ 1974 ജാനുവരി 16 മുതൽ മെയ് 31, 2011 വരെ അവിടെ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ആസ് എ സ്റ്റുഡന്റ് ഓഫ് പോസ്റ്റ് MSc ഡിപ്ലോമ ഇൻ സ്പേസ് ഫിസിക്സ്, ആസ് എ റിസർച്ച് സ്കോളർ, ദെൻ ലെക്ചറർ, റീഡർ, പ്രൊഫസർ, ആൻഡ് ഫൈനലി പ്രൊഫസർ ആൻഡ് ഹെഡ്. ഞാനും അയ്യർ സാറ് ഒരേ ദിവസമാണ് ലെക്ചർ പോസ്റ്റിൽ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തത്. പക്ഷെ അന്ന് തന്നെ സാറ് കൾച്ചറൽ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് പ്രോഗ്രാം അനുസരിച്ച് UK പോയി. അവിടെ നിന്ന് തിരിച്ചു വന്നതിന് ശേഷം സാറ് അധികം താമസിക്കാതെ സൗരാഷ്ട്ര യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലേക്ക് പോവുകയും അവിടെ സർവീസ് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് അവിടെ നിന്ന് റിട്ടയർ ചെയ്യുകയും ചെയ്തു. സാറിൻ്റെ ഓർമ്മകളിലേക്ക് വരികയാണെങ്കിൽ, നാഷണൽ സ്പേസ് സയൻസ് സിമ്പോസിയം 1978 വാൾട്ടർ ആന്ധ്ര യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിൽ നടന്നപ്പോൾ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിൽ നിന്നൊരു ടീം പോയിരുന്നു. അതിൽ ഞാനും റാവു സാറും ഞാനും അയ്യർ സാറും ഡോക്ടർ ബാലൻ തുടങ്ങി കുറച്ച് പേരുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ ട്രെയിൻ യാത്രയിൽ എനിക്കും റാവു സാറിന് ലോവർ ബർത്താണ് കിട്ടിയത്. മറ്റേ റാവു അയ്യർ സാർ ആണെങ്കിൽ അപ്പർ ബർത്തിലേക്ക് ചാടി ചാടി കയറുന്ന ഒരു ഓർമ്മ എനിക്ക് നിൽക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. രണ്ടാമത്തെ ഓർമ്മയിൽ എനിക്ക് വരുന്നത് സാറ് ഇതേ ഒരു നാഷണൽ സ്പേസ് സയൻസ് സിമ്പോസിയം PR-ൽ നടന്നപ്പോൾ, അത് 1995 തോന്നുന്നു. അന്ന് അക്കോമഡേഷനൊക്കെ അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് സാർ അന്ന് സൗരാഷ്ട്ര യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലാണ്. അക്കോമഡേഷനൊക്കെ അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് PR-ലെ ഡയറക്ടറും അയ്യർ സാറും കൂടെയാണ് വന്നത്. അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചു, സാർ എന്താണ് ഡയറക്ടറും ആയിട്ട് വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത് ചോദിച്ചപ്പോ സാർ പറഞ്ഞത്, രേണുകയെ കേരളമല്ല ഇത്, ഇവിടെ ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു നല്ല ഓർമ്മ എനിക്കുണ്ട്. തുടങ്ങി അനേകം ഓർമ്മകളുണ്ട്. നമസ്കാരം. ശരി.
Thank you very much. So now I would like to invite Professor N. Balan. He was a former faculty member of the department and also a distinguished scientist. Please, sir.
Morning, everybody. Good morning to everybody on the screen. Professor P. Rao was my and Professor Iyer was also my grade, but unofficial, and I was his first unofficial PhD student. I joined here under Professor P. Rao to design and develop an HF phase array. That was a very big dream for me. I remember his synopsis in a notebook sheet. In that he mentioned radar pattern and antenna pattern. I told Professor Rao, sir, I don't know anything about it. So how could I study it? He said, that is what I am going to do. So I started with the big dream under the BSc project with Professor P. Rao. It was HF phase array, 32 antennas in a circle of 300 meters diameter. And the idea was to project the atmospheric irregularities in a two-dimensional plane. So I was very much excited about it. And under that project, there was two engineers, Nanda Kumar, who was M.Tech, and Chandrasekhar, who was B.Tech, and myself was student. Nanda Kumar was in charge of the control systems. Chandrasekhar was in charge of frequency synthesizer. I was in charge of receiver, transmitter, and antenna. So I started studying antenna systems. By reading the Jordan book, I understood by changing the phase of the current, we can change the pattern. So that time it was only calculator. I didn't even see a computer. Using the calculator, I plotted the antenna pattern. Then using the 32 antennas, I plotted the view. I showed the view now, I was so much excited. I was also so much excited. But unfortunately, after few years, they were first scientists, first M.Tech and B.Tech. They got job, they left, and then figure out and myself decided we cannot do all this big job. We have to cut short it to an HF Doppler radar with the 4 antennas, 1 a transmitting antenna and 3 receiving antennas. So that is how the HF Doppler radar came in the other side of the campus, where it is now the football stadium. At the center of the football stadium was that building. So that was part of my PhD thesis. After I joined, 2 months after I joined, Iyer sir joined in the department at a faculty. And I knew his work was TEC and simulations. I am always a student. So I approached him. Sir, I would also like to study that topic. He told, okay, you are welcome. Then the first thing I told him was that I am very much interested in teaching. And he was taking the electromagnetic theory for the university students. He told, okay, you take this part. I told, I want to take the part that describes the antenna and its behavior. So he gave me the part of that one, but that was not MSc, it was post MSc, where Venu was one of the students. So I went to the classroom. That was an exciting experience for me. How keenly the students listen if you tell them what they want. Yes. So that way it went like that. And I started working with the Pibarao in the radar and also with the Iyer for TEC and simulations. My first papers were with the ISR. First 5-6 papers were with the ISR within 2-3 years. And that 5-6 papers, I have the list, but it is after the picture, so that I will show that. Those 5-6 pictures helped me attending the first international meeting that was in Bangalore, Ashoka Hotel. That was the first time I saw inside of a 5-star hotel. Ashoka Hotel was the 5-star hotel. Then it also helped me get the job here in the department, first as a technical officer and later as a reader. Then it also helped me attend several international meetings related to TEC and simulations. But main part of my work was radar. Then that also helped me invitation from Boston University. That was on TEC and simulations. Fortunately, the paper went for review with the Jules Irons, who was father of simulations that time. Then, to my luck, Clobuster was very much interested in me. And Shanti Basu and Pinanda Basu, they were also in Boston. They were interested in that paper. Then, to my surprise, there came a letter from Jules Irons. We are interested in inviting you to work with us for 6 months. So that was the first time I went to Boston University. Then it also helped me to meet BJ Bailey in Oulu, in Finland. There also it was easy and simulation work. And he asked me, can we do work together? I told, yes, I am very much interested. Then he told, you have to write a project. So I wrote a project on TEP enhancements during night, which was the part of Balendran's thesis. And I wrote that project. It was a Royal Society has to approve. So I sent the project to DJ Bailey. He made some English corrections and submitted. It was approved. That is how I went to UK. So after that, myself and Iyer we continued as very close friends. I was also his family friend. His wife was treating me like a brother. Almost every Saturday, Sunday, I used to visit them when they were in Calcutta. She used to serve me tea and some snack. So I enjoyed, and at that time she had a little baby girl. I used to play with her. So that was really nice. As Subodh trousers and Renata said, we used to go for space science meetings together, stayed in the same hotel, all of us together. So Girish also was there. So that way the friendship and collaborations went on. Then the last time I met Professor Iyer was in Singapore. That was in 2010. There is an AOGS society, which is similar to AGU, but for Asian and Asia Oceania region. There, Professor Iyer gave a very good paper in the section we organized. So that was my last time I met him, and then I came to know his wife passed away. That time I could not meet her. I regret I didn't go to the hotel to meet her, because usually whenever I see Professor Iyer outside the meeting hall, his wife was always with him. Then that time he told me wife is in the hotel. So, but I thought, okay, if wife is in the hotel, she doesn't want to see anybody. So I thought it is not better for me to go and see because she doesn't want to see herself. Maybe some problem may be there. So I didn't go. But later I came to know because she was having some disease and she passed away first and later this year Professor Iyer also passed away. So in memory of Professor Iyer, I will give a seminar. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Balan sir, for the words about the Professor Iyer. So now, there are alumnus of this department that are present both online and offline. So first, I would like to welcome Dr. Balaji now to say a few words about.
Secretary for online personnel, sir, communication, sir, governance, sir, yes, sir. Members of the department. This college here during 1988 to 94. Met him when he came to the department on a personal visit. And what he used to do was, whenever he came to the department, he had deep bonds with Kerala University, even though he had left for Saurashtra University much before I joined the department. He had very deep bonds with Kerala University, and I was conference. I was there. He used to come and inquire about our work and give insights into how it can be improved. And the contributions by Iyer, Dr. Iyer as a scientist and as a teacher has already been put forward by the speakers who went before me. Part of Professor Iyer. He was a very kind-hearted human being. I that very well when I went to Saurashtra University student. He was the examiner of my thesis. At that time, the university, what they used to do was the student had to go to the chairman. Professor Iyer was the chairman of my thesis. He had to go to Rajkot for the Viva. So I thought he was the examiner. I should not be contacting him beforehand. So I just I went to Ahmedabad. The train was only up to Ahmedabad, and from there I got a bus to Rajkot. Morning, I went to the department. And when I went to the department, he was asking, why did you not contact me earlier? You are new to the department, you might have had difficulty coming here. And he said, how is the university doing this thing? He said, it is up to the department how to organize it. The university did not give any guidelines. Okay, he said, okay, you relax, we will have a very informal meeting. Along with two of his colleagues, they want you to talk about the cases, they want you to go through the various chapters. We just have it in an informal way. We had a very informal meeting was just very useful. We talked about how future work can be done. Other than the thesis, what are already done. He said all these things can be done in future. And after that, I said, okay. He said, thank you for attending the Viva. And the process was complete. And after that, I said, I will take leave and go back to Ahmedabad. I had to catch a train back. He said, no, you cannot go like that. I want to come into my home. He had the scooter, he took me behind and went to his home. We had a we had lunch together. And after that, I again said, okay, I will be taking the office. He said, no, you cannot go like that because they will cheat you, they will overcharge you. So they had a private bus service only between Rajkot and Ahmedabad that's done by some tour operators. So they will overcharge you. So he came again to the tour operator and he talked to them and made sure that they did not cheat me. And then he made sure that I was safe on the bus and then only he left. I cannot think of any other examiner who would behave like that to his student. And primary reason for that was the bond he shared with Kalyana. Even though he was there only for a short, anybody who came from Kalyana. So I was fortunate in getting to know Professor Iyer during that period. So interested in this. Thank you.
Sir, now, Professor K. Vishwanathan is online. Vishwanathan, sir.
Uh, a very good morning to all my teachers and all others. I joined the Department of Physics in 1978 as an MSc student, and Iyer sir was there first as a technical officer and then as a lecturer for a few months. And then after that, he left the department and joined Saurashtra University, as all of us know. He used to teach us basic electronics, but that was only for a few classes, and then later somebody else continued that class for some reason. But he used to help us in the basic electronics lab. I remember we didn't know how to use the diode wire, triode wire, etc. And even after making the connections properly according to the diagram, we were very much afraid of switching on the power because we were afraid that we may spoil the device. But then he used to tell us, just connect it. And if it goes bad, use another one. Because without spoiling something, you cannot learn anything. But don't repeat the mistake. Learn from mistakes and correct it. And he used to tell us Edison's story, etc. And as I said, within a few months, he left the department and joined Saurashtra University as a faculty there. Even though I didn't have much any contact with him later, I came to know from Dr. Girish about his academic activities and his association with some faculty members in the department and with the VSSC lab, etc. And I'm nobody to comment on his academic activities. First of all, I didn't have any association with him, and not only that, I'm too smart to do that. I still remember the farewell function conducted in the department for him, and Mr. Mohandas of the instrumentation department played a song on flute about Swami, and he said, even though this song is about Ayyappa Swami, it is partly applicable to this Swami also. Now, Mohandas is also not with us. If there is a life after death, I am sure Mohandas will be playing the same song in front of Swami, and Swami will be enjoying that. I express my heartfelt condolence. Thank you.
There are some of our alumni are online. Sundar ma'am.
Sir, actually, I just joined to hear about him. I was not familiar about his Iyer sir. So please change
Okay. Dr. Nisha.
fast forward. Just to see our
Hello.
previous teachers, faculty members, I joined and hear about Professor Iyer.
Okay. Dr. Nisha.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Respected dignitaries who joined the meet online and offline. Good morning to all. I am Dr. Nisha, currently working at Government College for Women, Thiruvananthapuram. Many professors spoke today are my teachers at Department and University College. Today I am representing the past set of research scholars at University College who had worked in the space science area. We gather here to remember and pay tribute to a remarkable individual whose legacy I had heard on several occasions by my professors and teachers. I am not fortunate to directly interact with Professor Iyer, but I know Professor Iyer as a distinguished scientist and a PhD examiner for for many research scholars in my group, including myself. I am coming from a post pre-submission era also. I felt his skill in critical thinking and evaluation sharpness when I received the examiner feedback for my PhD thesis. Indeed, that was the best feedback I have received. I understand that he was a kind-hearted person and feel that his sudden demise is indeed a loss for space science community in India, particularly Kerala. Let us honor his memory by continuing to strive for excellence. Professor Iyer, your legacy will live in our hearts and minds. I thank Dr. Giri sir and faculties at Department of Physics, Karyavatam, to organize such a remembrance meet. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Nisha. So, any for Professor Iyer, please. If there are no other speakers, I would like to thank you all. And there is a photo of Professor Iyer, which will be handed over to our senior faculty member, Professor Vibod Joestar by Professor Balance. So now I would like to invite Professor P. Giri, who is our alumnus, and he will be reading out the condolence message received, both online and also through directly. So Giri sir, please.
Process, colleagues, friends and higher students. So my first duty, I think I have two duties to perform. First duty is to read the messages received from distinguished persons associated with Professor Iyer. First, I will be reading the message received from Professor Vidya Vanavan, who happened to be his teacher during his MSc program in Ernakulam Center of Kerala University, like Professor Umesh Nair. I am reading the message. Dear Dr. Sivi, thank you for your mail on KNIR Remembrance Day. I had the opportunity to teach him in the 60s in Ernakulam University Center during his MSc degree course. He was a very well-behaved and intelligent student and very pleasant personality. I was also in touch with him while he was a faculty in South Gujarati University, that he mentions Rajkot University. One or two or three occasions, he visited Kusat in response to my invitation to give lectures. Though I am unable to join physically on the Remembrance Day, I am noting my memories and condolences on this occasion. Also, Vidya Vanavan, former director of International Correspondence. So the next message is received from Dr. Rajiv, who is happened to be now the director of the Space Laboratory and also is an alumnus of this department. Professor K. Iyer was a brilliant scientist and teacher. His depth of knowledge in atmospheric processes was amazing. More importantly, he was so simple and approachable at any time. He has made wide and original scientific contributions in understanding Earth's upper atmosphere over the low latitude, and he has left a legacy. I gratefully acknowledge the benefits through interacting with him and his contribution to experience. May his soul rest in peace. Sorry that I will not be able to attend the meeting personally. Third and the final one is a long note sent by Professor Harish Chandra. So Harish Chandra is a distinguished scientist in Space Division in Physical Laboratory, now retired. Harish Chandra sir was associating with him since his PhD. He was under the same professor together, and it runs about 1.5 pages. Can I read completely? I am happy to know that the Physics Department, University of Kerala, is organizing remembrance for late Professor K.N. Iyer. I have a long association of 5 decades with Professor Iyer, ever since he joined as a research student of Physical Laboratory in 1971. I had completed my PhD degree at that time and was continuing to work as a research associate in the group with Professor Lecter, RGS. After completing his coursework in first year, he joined Professor Lecter. His main topic of research was radio beacon studies from orbiting explorer satellites. However, initially he worked on geometric field variations and also on the vertically upward moving kings in the ianograms of Tumba and Kodaikanal during day hours. To derive the true heights of the kings, I taught him the simple manual integration method and was our first research interaction. For his thesis, he combined the radio beacon observations recorded at 2 stations, Ahmedabad and Kodaikanal. This envisaged the coverage height from magnetic equator and beyond the anomaly crust region. It was the first detailed and systematic study of total electron content at PR. He also used daytime atmospheric simulation associated with the Sradiki over Ahmedabad and demonstrated close correlation between strength of scintillation and the maximum frequency of reflection from Sradiki. Professor Iyer had already left PRL and received duties in University of Kerala by the time I returned from University of Kerala, Adelaide, in 1976. Our interaction resumed after he joined the Saurashtra Unit at Rajkot as leader. Starting with scratch, he established a strong group of atmospheric research and later extending to include solar physics and atmospheric research in Rajkot. Initially, he started with the VHF measurements and then set up radio beacon studies using geostationary satellites and collaboration from IIG Mumbai. My interactions with him at Rajkot were initially as an examiner of his PhD students and also a member of as a number of decades in space science course he established as one of the specialized sections of MSc. Professor Iyer set up a GPS receiver for PEC and simulation studies, a Canadian atmospheric sounder for atmospheric studies, a carbon dioxide lidar for atmospheric studies, and surface monitor of instruments to study aerosols and race gases at Rajkot. He also managed the PRL's interplanetary simulation telescope at Rajkot, that is for solar and observation. He was instrumental in IIG setting up a magnetometer at Saurashtra University campus. He has gathered about 25 PhD students and maintained a high standard of research work. Professor Iyer was the second head of the physics department at Saurashtra University after retirement of Professor Kulkarni. With his contribution to excellent research, he made Saurashtra University known as an excellent center for space and atmospheric research. He organized a number of symposia, workshops at Rajkot, the National Space Science Symposium, I think that was mentioned by many speakers, Plasma Society of India Symposium, Gujarat Science Academy meetings, etc. My research interactions with him were on radio beacon studies. Under the All India Coordinator Program of Atmospheric Thermospheric Studies in early 90s, the atmospheric simulation work of about 20 stations in India was contributed by Professor D.R. Rao, IIG, Professor Iyer and myself. Three campaigns of 2 months each were conducted and data were jointly analyzed at the 3 workshops. For the third campaign, the workshop was organized at Rajkot. Our last collaborative work was on review of radio beacon work, primarily the work at PRL, but also covering the recent work in the country and future perspectives. The work was published in 2021. Professor Iyer was a great teacher, and his expertise was used in the space science course conducted by PRL for United Nations. I had the privilege in sharing the lectures with him on ionosphere for a number of years. He had agreed to give online lectures for the course in 2021, also but had to withdraw due to health issues. I had close family relations with Professor Iyer and shared that he was a great friend and a young colleague. Very kind, helpful, and great as a host is sad to miss him. So that's all the messages we received. Now I passing on to my second duty and probably the final part of this program. So my duty is to record the vote of thanks for the participants. So my dear professors, many of the professors who spoke was my own teacher at MSc. Professor Prabharan Nair was my PhD grade. So I think it is a very, I can say, even though it is a sad occasion to remember we are also happy to hear the old process of this department. So I don't want to tell more about Professor Iyer because I have a long association with Professor Iyer since I was a research student here in 82, maybe 1 year before his death. So he was in Toronto for more than 10 years. And I used to have interactions, academic interactions with us. And he was a PhD example of many of our students, as mentioned by Dr. Nisha. So it is a great loss for the academic community, and also I feel that it is a personal loss because I had events this year. So now, pass on to my duty. So at the outset, I thank Professor Biju, head of the Department of Physics, who, because the idea of conducting the Remembrance meeting was from a chat with Professor Balan, that it has to be arranged. Professor Balan insisted that it has to be arranged either in the department or elsewhere. So I Biju really agreed and gave all support for this. So first I like to thank Professor Biju in his absence for giving permission and making all the arrangements. The thing I want to record my first my thanks is the teachers of this department. I don't want to mention all his names. Dr. Subodh, who chaired this session, Dr. CV, who was helped us in the technical things, and many others. Next, I would like to thank all the faculty members who have joined online and offline and spoke also. Some of them spoke, some of them are alumni of this department. So now I would like to thank all the students, university students and other scholars, and all others who have participated and made this meeting a memorable one. Thank you very much.
Suppose, can you show that photo for the camera? We have not seen it.
I can call, you can just speak. Sir, this is the photo.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Sir, thank you for we are closing the Google Meet.
Okay. So meeting is, so Professor Rao, how are you? You have to unmute.
Your phone,
Unmute.
your mic is off, Professor Rao.
Unmute. Your microphone is muted.
Your phone is muted. Yeah.
Sorry about that. My mic is off. I expected Devanarayanan also to turn up. I talked to him recently, a few days ago. Just after I talked to you and I don't know, Prabhakaran. It's so nice to see you, Renuka. So many years. It was a very nice thing that we had a great time in 70s, recalling those days. It's good. I hope you are all doing well. Vishwanathan, you also settled in Trivandrum?
Sir, I'm in Ernakulam. Ernakulam.
Ernakulam. Okay.
Ernakulam.
Okay. Yeah, I remember many students. I have some old students when I visited Persian, Godfrey, and I think unfortunately Velayudan and Shamala were in close touch with me.